to the RunnerX podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Welcome back to Tough Love Tuesdays. I'm your host, Coach Caroline, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about motivation when you don't have a race to train for. We're in May right now, and you're basically, if you don't have a race on the schedule, maybe it's going to be hard to get up and go out. So I kind of want to ask you, why do you run? If you're not training for a race, why do you want to run? Are you running to stay active for your kids? Are you running because it's your me time? Are you running because it gives you a little bit of sanity, it clears your head? Are you running to lose weight? Are you running to, maybe you don't have a race on the schedule this year, but you have a bucket list item of maybe doing some sort of a triathlon or some sort of an Ironman or a Tough Mudder or some other marathon or Boston. Maybe you have some other long-term goal, but you know you're not going to be ready for it this year and you're trying for it next year. So you're looking down the pipe at like 14, 16, 18 months of training or till that race is, and you're like, I don't know if I can get up at 4 a.m. now when I'm got 14 months ahead of me. Well, we all go through it. So what Tough Love Tuesday this week's going to be about is basically what's going to keep you going. And this really happens in a lot of things in our world. If you get to the point where your job becomes something just about paying the bills, it can become really unfulfilling, right? We've all been there. If you're just like, I'm just doing the job, it's not something I love doing, I really prefer doing this other thing, or I really fall into the zone with my music or whatever it is, then the job becomes a drag, right? It becomes something you don't look forward to. But if you can find the good about your job, like maybe you're a waitress, but you want to be a singer at night. So the job basically allows you to do the singing. If you can start to look at that job as what supports your singing career that you want to get into, it makes the job a lot less of a hassle. It's kind of like I'm putting in my time because it's going to pay my bills. That's going to allow me the time to practice and go do the auditions and the things I want to do at night. The same is true during this off season or during this time of maintaining your running. I kind of think of it as this is when the fun happens. This is when you can maybe play with trail running. Or actually I should say running on a trail, because running is running, right? It's not trail running. It's not road running. Running is running. So maybe you want to go and run on a trail. Maybe you want to go play with some hills that you've seen. Maybe there's a park that you've always wanted to walk around. Maybe there's a hike you've always wanted to do. All of that movement can be built into your training, can be built into building endurance, building cardiovascular, building strength. You can create a life around running that is more than just running, okay? That's what RunRx really tries to bring to you, is to try to bring the joy back into your movement, right? Try to bring back the feeling of accomplishment when maybe you've been training for so many years and you don't have this race on your calendar. How are you going to get faster? Well, there's so many ways you can get faster, and mostly it's by allowing. So how do you begin to open up that feeling of the fall? How do you start to play with gravity? Maybe I need to be able to hold my body upright. And for me, I've got a little bit of extra weight, especially in my midsection, that causes my back tends to get sore quickly. So I really personally need to work on my abdomen and my core. Well, if I don't have a race on the schedule, this is my opportunity to maybe do a lot more strength training. Maybe instead of saying, I'm going to run 26.2 miles this year, maybe my goal is I want to be able to hold a perfect plank, or a very, correct movement of the plank, or correct, I'm trying to think of the correct position of the plank for 2 minutes. Well, just like running, I'm not going to just suddenly hold the plank for 2 minutes, right? I'm going to do 10 seconds, and I'm going to do 15 seconds, and I'm going to work my way up to 20 seconds, right? So set a new goal for yourself that complements your running. A lot of people like to do swimming or biking. These also complement the running, but don't let it be something that becomes mindless. Just like I want you to get into your movement and start connecting with your body when you're running and allowing yourself to fall and allowing yourself to connect with what you're doing, I want you to also do that with your swimming. Do that with your biking. Don't just go out and mindlessly move. And here's why, because that mindless movement is what gets you injured. Okay. How many times have you been in your car and you're thinking about something else? You're not thinking about driving this big vehicle, and maybe somebody moves out of a stop sign that you didn't see. Maybe they were in your blind spot and you didn't see them, and it jerks you into reality, and you go, "Oh my God, I almost hit that person." I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be jerked into reality by some sort of injury or pain or a bad event. I want you to be connected so that it's not a surprise, so that you can continue to work out and build your goal to actually accomplish that whatever that is you're looking to do, maybe next year or in the future, or a bucket list item, and enjoy the journey along the way. Because if you're just mindlessly going out and hitting a button, or you start to dread getting out and running, that's going to really slow down your progress. So, what I want you to do this week is, let's not just check a box, right? Let's not think, "Oh, I don't have to really be serious about my running for 16 months." Ask yourself, what can I do today that would make running fun? What could I do today that would make me want to go running? And maybe it's, I want to try to uh, go run on a trail. Maybe I want to go try to run at a track. Maybe I want to go ahead and try aqua running, putting on a weight vest and running in the pool. Think of different ways to make running fun for you, and it will come back to you in spades. Now, if you haven't looked at our 30-day reboot, go to YouTube. We have a 30-day reboot there. And if you have any questions for Valerie or myself about mindset, please feel free to reach out to support@runrx.fit. That's support@runrx.fit. And we will answer it either on our podcast that we do jointly on Fridays, or on any Wednesday at 10:30. We go live on Instagram, and Valerie can talk about technique. She can talk about your mindset. She can talk about maybe what you're training or what you're working towards, and how RunRx can help. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRx podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.